Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly.
Again, you look like you're in the Arctic.
I feel like I'm in the Arctic.
Chilly in Florida.
Yeah. So everybody, welcome back to Two Women in Crypto. It's like 52 degrees here in Central Florida. I am absolutely bundled up. Kelly looks very comfortable in her house.
My house in the Pacific Northwest. Another beautiful, I don't think it's going to rain today, but that's all. Either way, it's a good day to get out and enjoy and feel grateful for the day that we have in front of us and every breath. So that's where I'm at today, holding down the fort here in the Pacific Northwest.
I love that. What
is new in the world of crypto from the researcher's perspective this week?
All right. So we have there's a lot of stuff going on that I want to cover. In the beginning of the week, I know we kind of touched base on this last week. And, so in the beginning of the week, the market, you could see the fear index was super high. We had Bitcoin drop just under 40,000. I wasn't sure, how low it was going to go, but it looks like, it leveled out. Jerome Powell made some more statements. For those of you who don't know, Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank. So we're going to kind of dive into it and just kind of cover some of this news that's going on. And there's a lot going on. So, but, at the end of the day, it's like this, it was funny. I jumped on Coinbase and right on the front page of Coinbase's website, it was like the future of money is here, according to Coinbase. Over 73 million people and businesses use Coinbase to buy, sell, and manage crypto. And I kind of want to drive this point home today because so many people know that there's something going on in our financial system. And maybe you can't put your finger on it, but we are moving to a digital economy. Whether we want this or not, we are moving to a new economy. We're not going back to the old economy. We're moving to a new economy. And I was talking to some folks out in the community this week, and they were like, Andrea, I really don't trust this Bitcoin. I don't trust digital money. And I'm like, when was the last time you used cash to buy something?
It's so funny you say that because I was just thinking that because I'm in the middle of getting ready to move, and I have this little pockets of cash and things that I've, put away here and there, or coins. And I'm like, gosh, I even forgot I had it because it's not in the front of my mind at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we go to the store, we're using our debit card, we're using our credit card. And, the difference is that when we use our Visa or MasterCard right now, even like our bank debit card, we're on an old legacy financial system that is, we have a high risk of getting attacked. Like hackers can hack into our accounts. They're not super secure. They're very centralized. So again, we do these videos every week because we want to share the information to let people know, the new system of blockchain is highly secure. It will become more and more scalable. And we're going to talk about that today. But, in terms of safety and having control, over our money, we really do want this blockchain technology. It's really going to be, it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too. And plus the diversity of being able to use various types of coins for buying power, for purchasing power too. Of course, we're
Yeah,
going to have centralized, but having these other opportunities to use something like SHIB, and I think Elon Musk just recently tweeted about Doge being usable, and that created part of a price surge yesterday. But the point being is that there's going to be so many degrees of opportunity to use the coins that you may be acquiring along the way. So
absolutely. And again, it's like, do we want to have all our eggs in one basket, or do we want to diversify? Because like, as we move into this new financial system, and, the CPI came out this week, we're at 7% inflation. So that was for December. Back in November, we were at 6.8. Now we're at 7. And again, it's like, that doesn't include food or electricity. It's not part of the CPI. So, just want to keep these things in mind because we don't know how it's going to go, right? We always talk about no one really knows. We can't really do price predictions because it's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's, we're in a new technology. And every time we're in like a new industrial revolution, like we're in the data revolution, whether you want to believe it or not, it doesn't make it untrue. Like we're in this, we are in this. And it's like, I think about credit cards, and when we moved from checks to credit cards and people were like, I'm not using this piece of plastic. Now everyone uses it, and it changes so slowly that it just becomes the new normal. And we don't even think about, oh, wow, remember back in the day when we used this card to pay for things?
Well, it's so funny, just on the same subject, but the other day I was in the grocery store, and do you remember, you and I have a few years on probably some of the listeners that are out there, but when I first walked into the grocery store one early morning, I always do my shopping like at the crack of dawn, and an automated voice came over the intercom, like, advertising something, where it used to be that the tellers or whatever would pick up the phone and their little intercom system, and they would say, chuck roast is on sale for $1.99 a pound, it's, da. But everything's automated. I remember how irritated I was. I came home from the grocery store and I'm like, oh my gosh, these voices are these automated voices, right? And then slowly, when the human voice comes over the intercom for any reason, it's like, oh my God, there's a human speaking. The point being, my bringing this up is this is our new world, and it is here, and we're going to be subjected to either, you're not going to have a choice in the matter. So let's educate ourselves along the way. And instead of keeping our head in the sand like the ostrich, right? Just really begin to embrace it. Embrace it. Just the way forward.
We got to embrace it, and we have to empower ourselves with knowledge, right? So Tom Emmer, he's one of the congressmen for Minnesota, and he is in the process of submitting new legislation for the United States government to limit the Federal Reserve Bank's power to create and own a central bank digital currency for the people. So every single person who is listening to this should be sharing this video and emailing your friends, email your family. We need this technology to stay private, and to stay anonymous, because if the Federal Reserve Bank has complete control over the money system, it's never a good thing. And Tom Emmer said, we don't want to end up like China. China, like when you walk on the streets in China, all your faces are facially recognized through all the cameras that are all around the cities. And, again, if you don't do something that the government wants you to do, or you say something that you disagree with, because there's no freedom of speech, 100% censorship, then you can't get on a bus, you can't get on a plane, you can't get on a train, you can't get a mortgage. We do not want the United States, like, we are the leaders of freedom. And in my personal opinion, and I'm sure a lot of other people's, if you do research, you'll understand we are at war. It's a different kind of war. They don't have to drop bombs on us. It's like we're in like this like technology war with like, the corporations want more power over the governments and they want to do things their way. And then we have like these international global, they're not governments, but in my opinion, they're governments like the World Economic Forum and Davos, like all of these people, they have a plan, they have a vision, and they have a strategy to help us walk through the Great Reset into this new paradigm. So I'm all about moving into a new paradigm of love, consciousness.
Paradise, right.
We're going to make the world a better place. Like we will win, but we need to be educated. And it's so interesting because I started researching, I don't know, you guys remember like a couple podcasts ago, Kelly had sent me a text and she was like, hey, MetaHero's doing an airdrop. You can get Everdome if you have more than 10,000 coins. So I moved my coins over to see if I could, participate in the snapshot. So I'm doing some research on Everdome because Everdome's going to be listed, on exchanges in the beginning of February. So I think February 8th, they're going to go public. And Everdome is obviously partnered with MetaHero, and they're creating the most hyper realistic metaverse to date. So they're going to be in competition with Sandbox, with Decentraland. And like, if you look at Decentraland and Sandbox right now, people are like, it's so cute, it's fun. But this is like, you're scanning your body, creating an avatar. You can scan your objects and you could go into this metaverse and, create a virtual world that's hyper realistic.
Interesting. I haven't done the deep dive into Everdome. So thank you for bringing that up. It's on my list of things that we've talked about from the last. That's really, really interesting.
It's super interesting. And the folks behind this project are super successful. Like they've been rolling out successful projects their whole career. And I'm pretty sure I sent Kelly the website. As you could just go to like everdome.io and you can see some of the new graphics and their white pages and their roadmap and kind of get an idea of like how we're moving forward. But at the same time, I was thinking, Klaus Schwab, who was the founder of the World Economic Forum, if you go, they do blogs and they have all of these discussions about the data revolution. And in one of the blogs, it said, you will own nothing and be happy. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, right? Like they're walking us through the Great Reset, y'all. We're going to be in the metaverse. What are we going to own? Digital property, digital assets. It's all digitized. It's not tangible in your hand, right? It's a non-fungible token. Non-fungible token. You're taking a physical asset and you're putting it into a virtual asset. So it's like, it's already happening.
No, it's such, the whole metaverse conversation, and we don't need to get into it today, is just one of those things that I understand that it's happening. And I want to be able to be knowledgeable so that I can speak to it and decide where, if and or when I'll participate outside of just the cryptocurrency side of it or what have you. But, I just every time we talk about property, I'm like, I want to go buy my own land. Anyway, just a little segue there since we're talking about real estate and things of that nature. Interesting. Just looking real quickly at Everdome, the IO, it's like their financial infrastructure will allow for everyone who will be settling Mars with us the ability to buy and sell around all things related and needed for settlement. That's just a really quick, brief snapshot of Everdome, but I will be doing a deep dive into that today for sure.
Yeah. Well, the other cool thing is too, like, let's just say you have this really awesome handmade, XRP cup, for example, and you scan your cup and you put it in their database, in MetaHero's database, if someone likes your digital cup and they want to take it with them into the metaverse, you get paid a royalty.
Yeah, so that's a whole other thing, because of somebody that's in one of the groups that I have brought in just a real quick left turn to NFTs, that you can now create NFTs off of your Instagram posts. So, I mean, that's a whole nother, we're going to have to do a deep dive into NFTs, because I've been doing a lot of research. I have a couple of projects that I've been working on in that world, but the fact remains that if for me to take a picture of my dog and put it out there, that somebody can choose to have my dog Rogue as their pet in the metaverse, it's just mind blowing to me. But anyway, continuing on.
Continuing on. And again, like, so when we look at like MetaHero, not financial advice, with the Everdome, so this company, it has put together the largest marketing campaign in history of all metaverse projects. So just keep that in mind. So we just kind of want to talk about that. And the public listing is definitely February 8th. I don't know which exchanges, they haven't announced it, but this is something that we want to follow. And then, just to kind of like go into some other news before we start breaking down Cardano, Coinbase made an announcement. I don't know if you saw this, Kelly. They purchased a company called FairX.
Saw that,
and you saw that. So derivatives are coming to Coinbase. And in the future, they plan on offering this to United States customers. So again, this is just another way, like, our financial system is merging with the legacy system with this new blockchain technology. And eventually, like, our system, like our financial system is evolving. Like, we're moving into a new financial paradigm. I can't stress that enough. We don't want to hold all of our money in dollars. Okay. Right. Like, we don't know what's going to happen when Jerome Powell decides that they have to raise interest rates and sell all their assets, on their balance sheet, because they own too much, right? So they want to put it back. So, this is just something we want to watch over the next couple months, and that can create a lot of volatility in the crypto market with the prices. Okay. So we're not going to get nervous, because at the end of the day, we are moving to, like, it's like I said, we're moving into a blockchain technology. Like, this is the future of finance. The future is now, and we're right on time. Right?
That's right. Welcome to the future. You're right on time.
Welcome to the future. So the other bit of news too. So, El Salvador was the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender. And the second country that's looking to do it is called Tonga. Tonga. They're a small country in the Pacific Islands with 100,000 people, but they're putting in the legislation, and they have a whole plan
for Bitcoin, to make Bitcoin the legal tender.
Yeah, and this is how it starts, right? So it's always the smaller emerging, countries that are going to move towards adopting, cryptocurrency as legal tender. It's not going to be America or any of these bigger countries, because we have so much power with the dollar.
Right.
So we're going to have to transition us over, like, super slowly, but it was like really, really cool. And the other thing I wanted to talk about too, I don't know, I think it just came out yesterday. I don't know if a lot of people know, but like, with the virus spreading, so Ripple and the SEC got together and decided to postpone, the expert discovery until February, because of the virus. So February 28th, they'll start expert discovery. I think they have well over 10 witnesses, and each witness takes a day. So it's going to be, right. So
is this going to be public, available for public viewing, or is it going to be enclosed?
normally what they do is they give us like a certain amount of slots to sign in. Yeah. So I think they cap it, but Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton, they all cover it really, really well, and they share it with us.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Let's see what else. What else is going on in the world? Oh, so I was reading about, some of the other news, and it's so interesting when I look at like the government and kind of like who's connected to who and all this fun stuff. So like, BlackRock, right? They manage over $9 trillion in assets. It's double the economy of Germany. So with all of the stuff going on, Senator Warren's been pushing to get BlackRock listed as too big to fail in case of like a financial emergency.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So we want to kind of take a look at this, and it's just been really like interesting to see like some of the laws that have been passed. Like there's an International Emergency Economic Powers Act that was passed in 1977.
Okay.
So who is president? I think it was either Ford was on his way out, and I think Carter took over. I was like 6, I don't know, but I think it was Carter. But if you read through this act, it's kind of like way back in the day, they put in these executive orders, and like with this act, what they did is they're able to go in and freeze accounts during a crisis. They can freeze foreign exchange trades. They can confiscate property. And it's just interesting when you look through all the different legislations, how the groundwork is all set up to this moment of time.
Interesting.
Right? And I've been reading, and I know I sent you, and I know we talks about this, but like when I look at the news and I'm looking at the World Economic Forum and the IMF met with 10 countries, and they're talking about a cyber attack. Mm-hmm. And we have all this legislation, the Dodd-Frank Act. You can look that up because they allowed the banks to do bail-ins. So it's like when we look at all of these different things, it's like we don't want to have all our money in the bank, y'all, right? We don't want to have all our money in the bank. Not financial advice, but I'm doing the research, and it just seems that they have a strategic plan to set us up, maybe to push us into this digital economy.
Right. The old adage back in the day where our grandparents or parents perhaps even used to stuff some of their cash under the mattress and the floorboards, all those things. I mean, in the same context, it really does ring true. We don't want to keep everything in the bank. And yes, it would be best to have some of our assets, even gold and silver bars, things of that nature, which I'll include a link on how to go ahead and buy that. JM Bullion, you can buy it online to really diversify those assets. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. Keep it in the lampshade, if nothing else, even if you don't put it into like your Voyager application for USDC where you're earning that, put it somewhere. But yeah,
no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like, and it's just interesting because like, I always feel like, television is telling us a vision. So what is the television telling us now? And not that it's going to happen, but, they did Event 201. Look it up. Event 201 before the pandemic. So did they know a pandemic was coming, or did they plan a pandemic to come? We don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know, right? We'll never know the truth. But now it seems like the agenda is moving to like a cyber attack, and we're seeing cyber attacks happen. But this simulation, and Kelly can add this to the podcast, I mean, they tell you exactly what they're going to do. So if it happens and we're reading the document, we know to keep cash in the house, physical gold and silver, have some food, because if this does happen, I don't think people realize like no internet, no electricity, Traffic lights don't work. Grocery stores get knocked out. They'll have no food in 3 to 5 days. And if you don't have cash, you're not going to get food. Right. So we just want to be prepared. We want this insurance policy because things feel a little intense. And like when I'm reading through like some of these new articles that are coming out, it's kind of like, okay, you know, we're going to go with the flow. Oh, you're throwing this at me? Boom. I got some more cash.
Yeah.
Right.
It's, you know, and it's not about
plant some more seeds.
Not about instilling fear for anybody.
Yeah.
It's just to be prepared. It's, you know, just because we don't know what's going to happen, because we really are in a very tender rebirthing process.
Definitely. And like, you know, and again, it's like when I look at these companies like BlackRock, they have like, and this is like, just go to blackrock.com. It's on their website, but there's a thing called like mega trends up to 2050. And they're planning on most of the population living in urban areas. It's on their website. How do they know? Yeah. How are they shaping the future, or are we shaping our own future? And if you don't want to live in a smart city, you got to think about these things. Like, what's your plan? You know, like, what's your plan? And hopefully they're wrong, you know? And I think education is key. But like, I took notes, like Brian Deese. He was the director of National Economic Council. He was the head of Global Sustainable Investing. He went over, and he's the deputy treasurer secretary under Janet Yellen. And then there's this guy, Wally Ademo. He's also from BlackRock. He's part of the government. Michael Pyle. He is the senior economic advisor to Kamala Harris. He was the global chief investment strategist at BlackRock. And he personally oversaw the strategy for investing $9 trillion in funds. He's got a huge role at the government. So we got this private partnership with, you know, it's like with the government. And it's, of course they're going to be too big to fail, because you think the government is not going to let BlackRock fall. BlackRock invests trillions of dollars in the Chinese economy.
Yeah.
We have Evergrande falling. Like, what's going to happen to BlackRock? How, you know, these are just all questions. We just, you know, you guys have us, we do the research, but we want to look into this stuff, because I don't want people to shape my future. I'm the co-creator of my universe. I'm the captain of my ship.
Absolutely.
I steer the ship.
Right. Exactly.
Let me steer my own ship.
The bus. You steer your own bus. I am in my own bus. I'm in my own little world. Thank you very much. Yes.
Right on. So I think that wraps up a lot of the news. So we're going to kind of transition into Cardano, but it's so cool. So when I was looking at Cardano was the most developed crypto on GitHub in 2021.
Which is huge. And it's so interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody just recently, because right now you would look at the price of Cardano and you're like, what is that? But of course, the market is the market. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what all you have to share about Cardano, because it's one of my favorite coins.
Yeah, I mean, Cardano is one of my, you know, again, it's one of my favorite coins. You know, obviously, you guys, everyone knows I love Charles Hoskinson. But like when I look back and I look at like Ethereum, you know, Ethereum was the first mover with smart contracts. So they're the leader right now. And they created their smart contracting platform. And they're going to, and you know, we've said this before, we're going to build it and we're just going to fix it as it goes along. How is that working out? Because I'm getting frustrated. You know, the biggest thing about blockchain technology and digital assets is for inclusivity for everyone. How can this be inclusive when I want to send my coins offline? And, you know, it's costing me $50 to $150 per transaction. Someone who's only investing $50 to $150, your coins are going to be stuck on whatever, wherever you buy them.
Right.
Because that fee to transfer them is so high.
I call Ethereum the mafia of the blockchain consciousness. God love them. I mean, I know exactly where they started, but they kind of hold you hostage.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And again, it's temporary. Ethereum will fix,
They
they'll
will.
fix it. They'll become more scalable. They will fix it. But in the interim, now we have Cardano building out their ecosystem. And when I looked at like, you look at like MakerDAO and all these different, the part of the ecosystems for Ethereum, we have the Ardana part of Cardano's ecosystem, and the token is called Dana, Dana. You could buy it on KuCoin and I believe Gate.io, and it is being traded. I think it was like $3 or something. But what's really cool about our Dana platform is that it's going to act like as the governance token for the Cardano ecosystem. And they created a decentralized exchange to swap currencies and tokens. And they're going to do it in a very cheap and reliable way, which is going to create even more competition for Ethereum. And the thing about like Cardano and some of these other platforms that have really taken their time because they're learning from, some of the mistakes and some of the downfalls of the first movers, right? So we're moving kind of like into the next generation of the blockchain. So it's like, what do? We went from AOL to what? Like Internet Explorer maybe was the second one.
I think so. Yeah.
So we're kind of like starting to transition into this new generation of the internet, which is really interesting. And Cardano is going to be a big part of that with this ecosystem. So when you look at like Uniswap or SushiSwap, we know how high the fees are.
Oh my goodness.
We always say we walk away, we get frustrated, we get mad. Ethereum mafia is coming after us,
Right. Sitting there refreshing. Come on, bring that baby down. Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's kind of cool to see these new systems to be like, yeah, our goal is to be able to swap these currencies for pennies on the dollar. So fingers crossed, this is a huge project. You're going to be able to take you're going to be able to take loans out on this platform too, similar to Meld, which is their other savings and loan platform. But you could take a loan out on their stable coin, which is D as in David, USD. So that's Ardana's stable coin. So let's just say I want to take a loan out. It gets locked into a smart contract. I still earn interest on ADA. Different than Celsius, right? If I take a loan out on Celsius, I don't get the interest while I have the loan out. But on Ardana, I'm getting the interest on my ADA. So I can take that interest and pay the loan back.
Nice. Nice.
And again, is this the part of the new financial system?
It's the way it should be.
Well, it's the way it's going to be. Because every single Ethereum's doing it, Polkadot's doing it, Solana's doing it, Cardano's doing it. Everyone is doing this over collateralized platform where you could borrow against your own crypto and pay yourself back. This is part of the new financial paradigm, folks, and it's just getting built out. And imagine,
so flippin' exciting.
What's that?
So flippin' exciting to me.
It's so flippin' exciting. So it's like, this is just so cool because I can take a loan out, which means I'm not cashing in. I don't have to pay taxes on my Cardano because I didn't sell anything.
Exactly.
I'm just taking a loan out against my Cardano and it's locked and it's being staked. I take my interest. I pay that loan back. So fair, right? If I go and run up my credit card, I can pay back 18, 19, 20% per month.
Yeah.
Like people cannot pay off their credit card bills in this kind of system. It's really difficult. The average person who's making 10, 20 bucks an hour is not going to be able to pay off their credit card bills.
Nope, absolutely not.
No. And I always tell people, like, it's like we're all indentured servants. You go to school, I know I have friends that pay $1,200 a month for student loans.
Oh my gosh. My kid. Yeah. We don't even have to. I mean, my kids, their loan balances are ridiculous. It's absolutely, such the energy behind this debt driven society that we live in. It's shifting though. It's shifting. That's all that we have to focus on is the shift.
Right, the shift. And like now is the time, right? So it's like when there's extreme fear in the market, Cardano was over $3. Now it's like $1.30 or something. But when there is extreme fear, we want to start accumulating, the future financial systems like Cardano. So we have enough Cardano so we can collateralize our loan in the future, right? Because we want to have that, because we don't want to keep taking loans out from banks. Banks don't want to loan us money anymore.
Well, they don't have the money to loan. Quite frankly, I mean, you go in there to even move money, you can't move anything around. And just as an FYI, right now, Cardano is trading at $1.26. So lots of opportunities, lots of buying opportunities are in front of us.
Yeah, for sure. And again, and I think when you look at Cardano, it's kind of it's like a mixture of MakerDAO and Curve Finance. So if you look at the price of MakerDAO, and then you look at the price of Maker, I mean, Maker is like over $2,000 for one token, because this is a big, it's like a bank. Like I'm taking a loan and I'm paying myself back. So these are very, very big systems, so if it's going to be like on that kind of scale, I don't know the market cap. The coin is so new, it doesn't even have a market cap yet. But this is something we can definitely keep an eye on, and something that I want to add to my portfolio at some point this year, because I know Cardano took a hit, right? Because again, when you're releasing these new platforms, and all of them are going to have problems because it's brand new, right? So, but as Cardano and the developers, they work on making, solving some of these issues like concurrency issues, and, they're working to improve it and make it better. But as these systems build out and people are building on these, they're building their decentralized applications on top of Cardano, it's going to have a huge network effect. I mean, you're talking Cardano is the third largest company in market capitalization. So it's just stuff to think about as they're developing their new systems. Some of these aren't even tradable yet. That's how new it is.
There's a lot of projects that are going to be launching here in February too. I mean, I know you've already mentioned one or two, but yeah, there is a lot of new projects, not a lot of new launches coming on. Yeah. That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. So another one that is actually, you could buy it on Coinbase, is called CODE, which stands for the currency of the internet. Okay. So this project is going to help with all the transaction fees. So when we see transaction fees rise, every verification, it costs a little bit of a fee, and they're developing a system to kind of level, to keep it, what's the word I'm looking for? Stable, to keep the fees stable and predictable. And that's CODE, which is currency of the internet. So
how's that spelled?
COTI.
Oh, COTI. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. So they were founded in 2017 by David Asaraf and Samuel Falcon. And they both have big time backgrounds. David was part of he was a financial advisor for KPMG. He was one of the head people at the Bank of Israel. He was the chief auditor for HSBC. And we're seeing people from large institutions start to move over and support some of these blockchain technologies, because people are realizing everything is changing. So we're going to see more and more people from like these legacy financial systems move into these blockchain cryptocurrency technologies, really, which is really cool, And the CTO of CODE, his name is Nir Haloni, and he was the former head of research at IBM. So he was like a master inventor, and he helped author 14 patents. And this guy works for CODE now. So when we think of CODE as the currency of the internet, they came out with like an app called AdaPay, and they're going to be like the next generation for payments. And this system can handle tens of thousands of transactions per second. And I think like right now, like I think Visa can do like 25,000 with their current system, and CODE, once it's like fully developed, it'll be able to do 100,000 transactions per second.
Wow.
And CODE has their own wallet. It's called Viper.
I'm looking at their stuff. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's just something to kind of like get on the computer, play around with, look at these things so they become, more familiar. And I believe that CODE is like, it's just at the beginning. And they have, you can get your own debit card with CODE. You can have a bank account with CODE. And they're also involved in the lending side, and they have their own stable coin, which isn't even released yet. And it's called like DJED, DJED. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's not even released on to trade. And DJED is a mixture of Aave and Maker combined. These are big systems that are improving the current Ethereum system. So interesting.
I've never heard of CODE. I mean, I haven't heard a lot of these that you're talking about this morning. And CODE is currently trading at 33 cents, just as a.
And you can buy it on Coinbase, which is great for all of our loved ones, which is everyone in New York. There you go. You could buy CODE.
Binance, Coinbase, Gate. It's available for sure.
Yeah. And when we think about CODE and we think about Cardano, and you look at like some of Cardano's partnerships, and they partnered with some serious like Dish Network, which is like one of the largest like cell phone providers, and now they indirectly partnered with Samsung because there's a thing called Bitrue. And Samsung donated $2 million to plant trees, which is pretty cool, on Bitrue, which runs the Cardano blockchain. So Cardano is definitely getting a lot of exposure with like identity and with phone systems, because like there's another one called World Mobile, which is going to be really big, in the continent of Africa. Kelly's laughing at me.
I'm like going, my God, girl, I am so grateful that you love to do these deep dives, because my mind is going, oh my gosh, wait, I need to sharpen my pencil. Can you hold on one moment? Because it's like every time we talk, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's mind blowing to me what's out there. So please continue. I do not want to stop the train, but oh my gosh. Okay. So World Mobile, what's this about? What's that one about?
So World Mobile, it's not available to anyone in the United States. So like if you wanted to buy like the World Mobile token, you need a VPN and you need to get it out of the country. So I didn't participate in it, but it's one of the things where, a big push is going to be to bank the unbanked, right? Because so many people don't have access to bank accounts. But you don't really need a bank account if you have a phone. So the World Mobile token is going to be like a big part of getting people, paid through your phone, basically.
Right. So you can get it just, that one really just caught my attention, but it is available through Bitrue or Bitrue, however you pronounce that. And just as an FYI FYI, and using a VPN, it is there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really cool because just to kind of touch base, I know we're jumping all over, but like with some of these new systems, like with CODE, like when you think about like, okay, I can get a bank with CODE, but it's autonomous. You know what I mean? Like it's different, right? So, you know, everything is getting automated. Everything is getting automated. You know, it's like my cousin called me yesterday and he's like super young. He's in his 20s and he's like, he lives outside of Charlotte and he's like super frustrated. He's going through the drive-through to get his lunch to his next, you know, client. And he's like, he ordered his food at the drive-through. And the guy at the drive-through said, you have to order on your phone, you have to download the app and order your food. And my cousin was like, but I'm at the drive-through and I didn't do it on my phone and you're right here. And he was like, sorry, you can't get food. You gotta pull over and put your food order in and then come and pick it up. So, I mean, it's right. We're disrupting everything. People aren't super happy. We don't have access to goods and services the way we used to. So, because like we're going through the transition to this like more autonomous society. So again, if you have a job that can be automated, start thinking about your skill set because it won't happen overnight, right? They're changing the entire financial system. They're walking us through it slowly. But again, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, I don't care where you are, if you're a driver, we want to start thinking about these things because before you know it, we're going to have Flippy flipping the burgers. Then we won't need people to work at the fast food restaurants because they're going to have an arm that's automated that'll flip your burgers. They have bartenders that can make drinks. There's one in Las Vegas right now. You could go to one of the casinos and it's like a fun thing and you see the robot make your drink.
Oh, well, interesting. Well, you know, yeah. I mean, we could take that down a whole other conversation, but in part of it too has to do with the staffing shortages, right? You know, there's huge staffing shortages, and a lot of the fast food restaurants here are running off of skeleton crews, if even opening. You know, they close their doors a lot, or they only do mobile orders and things of that nature. So it is, I mean, we're seeing it everywhere. It's
everywhere.
Happening.
Yeah, everywhere. So, yeah. So, you know, and it's really interesting too, like just to go back to CODE, because I heard things that CODE only has like one node and that's why they can do like 100,000 transactions like really quickly. But like, I think they have 24. But I am concerned a little bit, and I want to do a deeper dive on this because there is a gentleman, I don't know if I can find his name, but you have investors from BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, Ripple, and Coinbase all invested in CODE. They all invested in CODE. Is CODE going to be successful? No one knows 100%, but when you look at BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, the guy from Ripple Labs, Coinbase, I mean, huge companies are investing in this A to pay. You know, it's just, this is going to be like a huge payment app. Huge. It's very exciting.
It is exciting.
And we'll definitely be watching it for sure.
Oh my gosh. I just want to have a lot of everything. Just because the projects are just so exciting.
They're so exciting. And it's like, you never know when to stop, you know, because it's like, you know, when you think about Cardano, you think about CODE and even DJ, when it comes out, it's like buying Aave. It's buying Maker. It's buying Maker. You're buying these systems, which is why I wanted to break down Cardano, right? Because it's the third largest. And they're building out their ecosystem. And if they can pull this off, they will get adopted really quickly. And they're already getting adopted. Like, think about the partnership that Cardano has with Ethiopia. And if every single person in Ethiopia downloads the A to Pay wallet and they use it for transactions, it's going to increase the value of these tokens.
Yeah. And the reason we share all this information, I mean, everybody's going to have their own investment theses, right? There are so many projects out there, and it's just a matter of kind of learning and leaning into what feels right to you. But man, there's so many exciting hope-centered projects, right? For the beauty of the world and what it can be to make everything a level playing field. And Cardano, I think, is so much a pivotal part of that birthing process.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And and again, like even for like day-to-day transactions and things like that, and to keep everything decentralized and private is the future. And and just to touch base on Sunday Swap too, because I know we've touched base on this before. So they're in the testing stage, they're in the beta. They will be releasing their mainnet like maybe in a week or two, maybe in a couple days. It's coming very, very soon. And again, when you look at Uniswap and you look at 1inch and some of these other decentralized platforms like Sunday Swap, it's going to be a lot cheaper to swap out our coins, which is really cool. And as a total side note, like says Kelly always says, I'm just going to take you for a left-hand turn here. Celsius is in the beta stage of their swapping because they want to keep your tokens on Celsius. So they're going to come up with a platform in Celsius where we could just swap our tokens. So really cool. And hopefully, I don't even know if Celsius will charge fees. We'll have to wait and see because they don't charge fees. Like I send my coins from Celsius to Voyager back into my bank account. I don't get charged a fee.
They're not keeping a percentage of your token or charging you any type of a gas fee?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just really cool. So we're going to see these fees go down. And again, I think part of it is like, it's so new and like, we're in the wild, wild west, it's like, you got to pay to play and you don't mind paying $150 fee when you have $10,000 of a coin. But when you only have $100 of a coin and they want to charge you $100 fee, you're not going to make any money. So, we want to keep an eye out and we'll just keep updating everybody, with some of the new systems. Oh, and I did transfer my Very off of that, shady exchange, Mercado. I was able to transfer it to my Trust wallet.
Okay.
And they only charged me half a Very, not one Very, 0.5. So I was happy about that. Right, still sure. Really high fee, but like, it was half.
Interesting.
So you can do that. You can definitely transfer your Very off of the exchange.
I'm keeping my eye on Very just to see when they're going to shift what exchange availability they have. I think that will come sooner than later, I hope.
Yeah, I've been trying to do a deep dive. Like I've been watching, we got some really awesome feedback about our last podcast. We had gotten over 300 views on YouTube. Kelly and I were like, whoa, we went from 2 to like 300. So, right. But again, no one's covering this story on Veritasium. So we will cover it. Like we will, like I'm always researching, congress.gov. Like, I look at the executive orders. Like I'm always trying to just get as much information as I can because some of this stuff is so important, y'all. Like if we don't, like, especially this Tom Emmer bill, even if Tom Emmer is not your representative, email your representatives and tell them they better vote for this bill. Because if the Federal Reserve Bank gets power, and they can just, let's just say there's a cyber attack. So we have a problem. The Federal Reserve Bank will be like, look, we got this great solution. Download the Fed app on your phone, and we're going to send you $2,000 a month since your bank account just got wiped out. But if you don't spend that $2,000, we're going to charge you 2%. And if people think that that's not going to happen, I disagree with them. I think that it's a possibility. It is a possibility because I don't think the average American person wants all their money to be tracked. Like Venmo, right? Venmo and Zelle they're tracking every single thing. Now, if I like, people were complaining about it to me all week. They're like, so if I make over X amount of dollars, everything, now I guess people weren't paying taxes and now they have to pay taxes. Everyone should pay your taxes, but like everything should be anonymous. Like they don't need to know that I gave Kelly, $5 to go get a Starbucks coffee. Not that you would drink Starbucks, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Like we don't need to, like it's an invasion of our privacy, and it's one step closer to having a social credit score. They do these things. Like, think about it. You need a pass to get into a restaurant in the city, in Manhattan. That's a form of social credit score. People don't say it is, but it is. It is. Yeah. And I don't want to, like, I don't want to have to like not be able to go somewhere because I don't have something. You know what I mean? So we just want to keep these things in mind and question. But again, I think the most important thing is Tom Emmer. He's a great guy. He's for the people. I don't care what they're labeled. We want to look at what they do.
Right. And it's not a matter of, it's that old saying that we've used, when in doubt, zoom out. It doesn't matter what your belief system is, but look at it from up here and just look. Just open your eyes, take a peek. You don't have to make a decision today, but just really start looking at what's happening. I went over to a local tea house over here that I walk to on occasion, and I can no longer go in because I have not been vaccinated, and I can no longer go in to get my tea. And that's their choice, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. I will do other things, but it was just really interesting. It's the first, I'm not out in the world much. In the real world, I have a very limited circle within which I work, but it was just really interesting to experience.
Yeah. And I think it's a trigger to me, because whether you we don't really want to talk about it, but whether you got the shot or not, it triggers me because, again, I grew up gay in this country. I know what it's like to be discriminated against.
Right.
So when I see a sign on like a store and it says no shot, no service, I'm like, you're gay, no service. You're Black, no service. That's what I think of, because it's you're never right. The government, whenever the government mandates anything, they're never right. Like, don't ask, don't tell in the service. Oh, you're gay? We're not going to ask you, but we can't tell you. And the military would have looked at me like a security threat to our national security.
Right.
Was that right? You know how many gay people are in the service? Like, so again, we just want to question all these things, because I think it's a small part of a bigger strategic design to get us these digital identities and to monitor us.
Well, that's why I brought it up, because regardless of, I know that this is about cryptocurrencies, and I know it's about, what is happening in the digital landscape in general, but it all is woven together. We are all in the same thread. So these topics that we weave in when we take our left turns all have a direct correlation with what we're talking about. It's all very interwoven.
Yep.
So, but here we are. And
but here we are. We're doing it. We're going to make the world a better place. Like, I love everybody. I don't, like I always say, we all think differently, and we should all appreciate that and honor each other for our differences of opinion. But, we want everyone to live happy, healthy, free lives, right? And if we're restricted with our freedom of movement, it's not so good. It's not so good. And they can do it with money. So, we're going to keep on this. We're going to keep talking about it. And I'm super excited about Cardano and all, and there's more to come, but I don't want to, it's so technical, and, I practice and I talk to my wife and she just walks away. So I just okay, I'll do half of what I was going to say.
No, it's good. I'm so grateful for the technical deep dives that you do, because I know you give me a lot to think about, and I can weave in whatever I can comprehend in the moment and keep the notes to go back into, because then when I hear it again, it's all about the awareness that we have for it. So I'm super grateful. And we have some exciting news too, kind of as we are winding down here, is that our website is now up. So you can now go to twowomenandcrypto.com and see us, because we haven't been on video yet. That is something that will be birthed sooner than later. But we really appreciate all the support that we're receiving through the various podcast channels. And of course, as Andrea mentioned already, our the love on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe there as well and like us, because we love you and we're super excited. It's a lot of fun.
Super excited. And Kelly did a great job putting together our Two Women in Crypto website. It's awesome. So definitely check us out. And we'll be, again, I know I've been getting some calls and emails. We'll be coming up with more like Zoom classes and intro classes and helping people, secure your tokens offline in a safe way. Kelly talks a lot about Safepal, and I know we're kind of going over, but I think this is really important. So when I got my new Above phone and I wanted to see Ledger Live, because when I download an app on my phone, I can see who's out there that's going to attack my data. And on Safepal, no one. There's not one entity out there that's going after that. So great job, Kelly. It's $47. Yeah. I mean, I bought the whole thing because it's cute. You get the fireproof case. I got the leather case. I got it all because, that's how I am. But again, I want my tokens on a couple different devices.
Exactly.
I want one on Safepal. I want one on Ledger Live with my Ledger Nano X, because God forbid something happens, our money is spread all over the place. So we might lose some, but we won't lose all.
No, that's exactly it. And that is why I liked Safepal, is because it is not a plug and play. It is a scan device. It is on its own. It is very, very difficult. I don't even know how they would go about it, honestly. So as long as you have your seed phrase, which is the same with everything, please keep your seed phrases handy. Please keep it and keep multiple copies of it somewhere with people you trust. Fires, natural disasters, these things have created some challenges for people. So really think ahead of that. But yes, I love the Safepal, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to dive into it, because it's my absolute wallet of choice.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll hopefully have it all set up for next week. So we'll be talking about it, and I'm super excited.
Yes.
And I guess we'll wrap up for now. But if anybody has, I know we started getting some comments. If we do these to help everyone understand blockchain and the future of finance. If anyone has any questions or wants us to cover a certain topic, just let us know. And I'm always in it. I'm doing deep dives all day, all night long. So just let us know, and we'll try to cover it for everybody as well.
Right. And on the website, I'll put a submit a question form here today, but just know we have an email address as well. It's twowomenandcrypto@gmail.com. And you can send us questions there as well. You can also reach out to Andrea and I directly. You'll find our email information on the website as well. But I'll also put, a question submittal form there. And obviously, if you are watching us and listening to us on YouTube, you can submit your comments there, and we can respond on that platform also. So fun watching it grow. And as we close, as we always say, HODL on. Your hosts for Two Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. Andrea can be reached at digitalcoach@protonmail.com, or you can find her on LinkedIn at Andrea Caldero. Kelly runs two programs related to cryptocurrency: the Future in You Cryptocurrency Group for Women, which can be found at new72media.com/thefuture, and the Gateway to Crypto, the Magic of Flipnir, through the Northern Gateway at thenortherngateway.org/cryptocurrency.